I'm Lucinda Stuenkel, and I am owner-manager of Sunny Day Farms in Palmer, Kansas. My role on the farm was to be gopher. Go for lunch, go for parts, that sort of responsibility. Then one day, it wasn't planned, but it happened. Both my husband and his brother, who farmed together, were killed in a vehicle accident. So overnight, I was promoted to CEO of Sunny Day Farms. And it wasn't an easy transition, obviously. We were numb for a couple weeks and then realized that if we were going to stay on the farm, that we had to start doing something. Our neighbors had taken care of the cattle for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden they said, well, we did it for you for now, but we're dead, so good luck. And the talk at the coffee shop was that we would last on the farm about 6 weeks, and then we would sell and move out and go back home. So I guess that didn't happen. But we realized that we would have to start doing things ourselves, and we'd have to start figuring things out. So that's where we began. My first order of business was the fact that it was after Thanksgiving. It was the beginning of December, and I was going to have 60 cows calving the 1st of January, and it was cold. I didn't know how to lasso cattle and pull them over to tie them up to pull a calf. I wasn't strong enough to carry the calves from the barn to the house to thaw them out if they happened to be more frozen. So I didn't know what to do. Fortunately, Grandpa and his brothers had helped a neighbor when his dad died young, and they farmed for him until he was out of high school and take over the farm for himself. So before January 1, he built a maternity barn for me with 4 box stalls, 2 of which had head gates, and a big sitter section for sorting the cattle. And so that is what we have used. And after that first year, I held the bulls back and didn't put them in like the same time as everyone else. And I waited till they would be calving in April and May instead of January. So the timing is to calve 2 weeks after the deer are born. And that way the coyotes have both rabbits and deer to eat, and they don't have to bother my cattle or my calves. And also that's the more natural time that a cow would calve in the wild. So that's what we did. And haven't pulled calves since, except for very rare instances. And when we do, it's easy to do so. One thing nice about the maternity barn is that neighbors saw our facilities and decided to bring over their ill and ailing cattle. And sometimes they said, if you can make them well, they're yours. You can have the money when you sell them. And so that added to the farm income. So we learned a lot real fast. I did not know how to drive a tractor. I didn't know how to hook up the stock trailer, let alone drive it or back it up. One of the first things I did was put a U-shaped driveway in every single farmstead that we owned. But we're past that point now, and things are better. I wanted people to understand that by working on soil health and growing cover crops and then grazing those cover crops, that you're not only improving the soil, but you're having healthier animals. And when people eat healthier meat, they become healthier themselves. The goal is to put a medicine cabinet of plants or herbs in each grazing paddock, or at least the ones that they're going to be in when parasites could become a problem with your livestock. Chicory and plantain and bird's foot trefoil are natural parasitides. And so if you can broadcast those into your pasture, It doesn't take much, about a half a pound per acre each. And then you have a medicine cabinet that they can graze themselves when they need it to get rid of the parasites in their system. With the cover crops, it's kind of interesting because we're able to extend the season of grazing, that they're grazing on a live plant, and therefore they're taking in better nutrition, and we can then extend the harvest season for our grass-fed beef. Because they are grazing and they're grazing very nutritional food, their meat remains tender for a much longer period of time, so that we can supply our health food stores and our specialty meat markets over a longer period of time, over more months than we could if we only grazed prairie grass. I have basically 5 hours of presentations on PowerPoint, so I didn't even get a chance to touch on my special calving techniques that are low input and less invasive and easier on both me and the cow. I didn't get a chance to touch on weaning very much, a lot of animal husbandry kinds of things that I've learned. I didn't get a chance to talk on their health and how we maintain a higher level of health, and how we have much lower veterinary bills because of the system that we're using now. And I didn't get a chance to talk on what you should do as a family to prepare your family to take over in the event that you're no longer going to be there, or if you break a leg and have to be in traction for 3 months. You know, it's all important for them to know what to do next, and that everybody in the family is cross-trained so that you can do one another's chores if you need to, or one another's responsibilities. I also want them to know that it is possible to learn something, even though you never had an interest in it before. Necessity is the mother of invention. And also I wanted to say that it's good to work with nature and to work with the people around you, because working together in cooperation with my neighbors has really made a huge difference in our farming operation. One thing that I did was to sell 10 cows to the 2 neighbors, and they then help us with herd health checks and vaccinations and that sort of thing. So and they also help us with making sure that the cover crops are planted in a timely way, as well as choosing the variety of cover crops to plant. And that way we have plenty of grazing, so we hardly have to make hay anymore. I thought this was a wonderful conference. Everyone I met was just a high quality, wonderful individual. The speakers were all great. I am very impressed with the caliber of this conference, and I've been to a lot of conferences, both as a college professor and now as a farmer, and this just rates right up there at the top.